Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this webinar on sustainable mobility. This event is organized in the framework of a project called RESIST, that is a Eurocluster initiative. And before starting, just inform you that this session will be recorded. And to have a short overview of the agenda, we will start with a brief introduction about the project, so you can know the opportunities we can provide to SMEs in the mobility, transport, and automotive ecosystem. And after that, we will continue with our best practices. We have today two best practices to comment with you. One is from the Stellantis Center of Vigo, okay, about their strategy in environmental management. And then the second one is by a company called Inycom, and it's about energy intelligence, okay, energy efficiency. So after these two presentations, we will read your questions. If you have any questions on any of these presentations, you can write on the chat, and we will read them, all of them, at the end of the presentations. Okay, so let's start. I give the floor to Oriane Agarde from Pôle Véhicule du Futur, that is the project coordinator of the RESIST initiative. Oriane, please. The floor is yours.
So hi everyone. So first I'm going to introduce myself. So I'm Oriane Agarde and I'm the coordinator of the project RESIST, with which we organized this webinar. So first of all, I'm just gonna do a quick presentation of the project, and then also the opportunities we have. So next slide, please. So first of all, the Eurocluster RESIST will support more than 100 SMEs from the mobility, transport, and automotive ecosystem in their green and digital transition to face specific challenges such as several crises. So in this project, we have more than €1 million to support SMEs in different activities that I'm gonna talk about later. So in this project, we are 5 partners. First, we are 3 partners from the mobility, transport, and automotive ecosystem. So SEAGA, who is located in Vigo in Spain, Autoclass from Czech Republic, and Pôle Véhicule du Futur, so me, as we are the coordinator, and we are located in France. And we are also 2 clusters from digital and manufacturing, so IDEA from Zaragoza in Spain, and RISUP from Linz in Austria. So now regarding what we offer in RESIST, we recently launched 2 open calls through which SMEs can receive fundings. So those 2 open calls are open only to European SMEs, startups, and very small businesses from the mobility, transport, and automotive ecosystem. So now I'm gonna first talk about the first open call, innovation. So the open call is open to, as I said, European SMEs who want to implement innovation projects in the mobility, transport, automotive ecosystem on green and digital transition. So these innovation solutions should help SMEs having more intelligent production. And for these open call, we have more than 800,000 euros, and so this open call opened the 19th of April, and it will remain open for 2 months until the 21st of June. So SMEs will have until the 21st of June to apply. Next slide, please. So the applicants can apply individually for these open call or in a consortium, but I will come back to this later regarding the budget. So we have 3 topics for this open call, and each applicant will have to choose only one of those 3 and develop a project on the topic they chose. So first we have the first topic called Optimized Digitalization in My Company through the Incorporation of Advanced Technologies. So the challenge for this topic is looking for more digital solutions in the company to cope with the accelerating transition in the ecosystem, and also especially to improve the quality of work. So the aim of this topic is to reduce the mental load through technological means and production system. Now the second topic is called Provide. So it's called Provide Innovative Solutions to Obtain Greener and Production Systems or Greener Products. So the challenge is to help beneficiaries accessing new business opportunities in order to have a greener production. And the aim is to have a better impact in the mobility, transport, and automotive production, and also to develop circular economy to help SMEs, startup, and VSB companies achieving long-term societal, environmental, and competitive objectives. Now, the last topic is turning to renewable energy innovations in my production line. Well, the challenge is to look for solutions to face the issues related to the increase of energy prices and the need companies have of modifying, obviously, their consumption. So those are the 3 topics. So again, if you want to apply to this open call, you have to answer one of those 3 challenges. Now I'm going to talk about the specifications regarding the open call and the budget. Well, the amounts we have to fund SMEs. So so for these open call, individual eligible applicants will receive financial supports of a total of 20,000 euros per applicant for individual projects. And applicants in the consortium with other SMEs from a maximum of 2 different regions will receive 30,000 euros. So it's 30,000 euros per applicant, and they can receive up to 90,000 euros for the whole consortium. For example, if you are an SMEs and if you are in a consortium with 2 other SMEs, you can receive each 30,000 euros, so up to 90,000 euros for the whole project. And the budget is distributed through lump sums, so you will first receive a part of the budget you will receive part of the budget at each steps of the project. And we plan to have a total of 20 projects to be funded. Next slide, please. So regarding the innovation projects, those are so I will give you some information for the call. So the duration of the project is of a maximum of 9 months, starting from September 2023 and until May 2024. Then we will accompany you throughout the duration of the project. So if you need help or anything, and during your project, in the middle of the project, you will have to submit a midterm report regarding the advancement of your project. And finally, at the end of the project, you will have a showcase. There will be a showcase event that will take place at the end of the project. So in December 2024. Next slide, please. Now regarding the application, so you will have to apply through the submission platforms by creating a profile. Then you will have to fill in the application form regarding your information and everything, and then you will have to upload the annex that you can download on the submission platform regarding with like the declarations regarding the data processing, the truthfulness, etc. Then the conflict of interest declaration, and finally the resilience check that we ask you to fill in to identify risks in your companies, and then you can submit your proposal. So that's all for the open call innovation. Then we also launched another open call, a second open call called for the activity of networking. To provide financial support again to European SMEs, very small businesses and startups from the MTA ecosystem. For this one, we have a budget of 15,000 euros, and this open call was launched at the beginning of this month and will remain open until the 20th of December 2024. And it will finance networking and marketing activities for the following actions I'm going to talk about. Next slide, please. So those activities are first the attendance to exhibitions, then the attendance to conferences and also to forums, but also the participation in matchmaking events, and the participation in meetings with potential customers or suppliers. And this concerns only the registration fees and the transportation costs and the accommodation costs. Now regarding the financing, so the financial support for networking activities will be up to 500 euros per SME, and the financial support for marketing activities will be up to 250 euros per SMEs. And then so regarding again the application for these open call networking, it's very similar to the open call innovation, of course, because you will have to submit on the same platform, so the submission platform I mentioned, and then fill in the application form also to explain the networking activity you want to apply for, and then regarding the annexes you will have to upload, so you will have to upload again the declarations as I talked about, and also the resilience check. You will have to download those documents on the submission platform and then submit it. So the application process for those two open calls of a total is will take you like 4 hours. So it's very easier than a traditional European project. And yeah, and to finish, the success rate also to get access to financing is higher than a traditional European project. Than a traditional European project regarding the open call innovation. So obviously you will have more chance to get fundings, and So that's all for those opportunities we have in the project now. But we will also launch other open calls during this year. So you will have all the information available on our social media that we are going to give you for if you are interested in future calls that we have.
Okay, thank you very much, Oriane, for your presentation, and for sure, if any of the attendants have any questions about these two calls, please write us in the chat, and we can answer them at the end of the presentation. We continue with our next best practice. In this case, we move to another important topic, that is energy. Okay, now, as you know, it's a very strategic issue for all the companies, and especially for the automotive and mobility industry. So I give the floor to Laura Marquez. She is the European Union Research and Innovation Consultant in the company Instrumentación y Componentes, that is called Inycom. Okay, Laura, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I will start sharing my screen so you can see a few slides that I have prepared for today. First of all, thank you very much for having us here, and especially to SIAGA for inviting us. As Patricia has commented, I am Laura Marquez from the EU Research and Innovation Consultant at Inycom, and I'm going to tell you a bit more about Inetic and its application in the automotive sector. But first, maybe a bit of background on what Inycom is. Inycom is a Spanish technology company whose core business is the provision of high-quality services and solutions in various sectors such as energy, industry, digital business, laboratory, and healthcare. The company was founded more than 40 years ago and has more than 950 employees and experts spread throughout Spain, thanks to the numerous offices that we have, although the headquarters are located in Zaragoza. And now, focusing on the industrial sector, Inycom is in the core activities of manufacturing. At Inycom, we approach the industrial processes from the following points of view. First, the integration and digitalization process. So we work with referent companies which transmit a specific challenge to us, and we work with them to create the best digital version of the process, normally supported by commercial tools with industrial ERPs, analytics, and even research and development and innovation. The second approach would be that we have related to this last point that I have commented, we have an in-house idea factory. Here we have two departments involved, the I3 department that helps with the integration of complex activities within the factory, and the R&D department in the participation of risk-sharing and collaborative projects where we seek to achieve an innovative goal or product. Our sectoral presence in this case of automotive is a very important pillar with our commercial presence, and we can address solutions in any part of the automation pyramid. So how did the solution that I'm presenting to you today come about? So it starts with BFA. BFA is the SIAG accelerator that brings together 28 collaborating companies, being an open innovation ecosystem that boosts the startup ecosystem, generating employment on the one hand, and on the other hand, providing training in projects and knowledge applied to the automotive sector, and whose mode of operation is a definition of needs and challenges that are transferred to a project mentoring. This mentoring is normally performed thanks to an active tutor from the sector and part of one of the collaborating companies, and from this challenge, the implementation of pilots is carried out, as is in the case of Inetic. In our case, we have been mentored by a TI Fluid System for the past 2 years. TI Fluid System designs and manufactures thermal management and fluid handle systems that improve efficiency, performance, sustainability for forward-thinking organizations worldwide, empowering the future of mobility. Our pilot case was developed at their plant in Vigo, Galicia. And now we come to the point where the solution for the pilot is proposed. So in the picture, you can see the plant in Vigo and the solutions that were adopted there. First, we have Kinetic 360 in the acceleration phase, and then Inycom in a second phase, which I will talk about it later. We detected several needs that they had there. So we detect where and how the highest consumption peaks occur. This was kind of a first phase, let's say, of discovery and understanding of the energy consumption. Then another need was to establish alerts based on variables of interest, for example, reactive and capacitive penalties to try to be proactive and avoid being reactive to bill payment. Also allowing to understand how the processes were behaving and allowing them to make better decisions when making that energy consumption. Also the part of advanced billing for better economic forecasting. They were also interested in monitoring the quality of electricity supply, since there are numerous robot systems and control cars in the plant, and specifically because of the location in which the plant is located. There were many problems with the quality of the supply, which led to constant breakdowns on certain active elements of the plant. And lastly, they were also interested in monitoring the carbon footprint of the plant. Now that we knew the need that they had, the question is, how does Inycom enter into this project? So Inycom enters with Kinetic 360 in the acceleration phase, that is the first phase. So from the point of view of an energy as a service product, meaning that we eliminate the fixed cost components. In this case, with Kinetic 360, what we do is we take care of the installation and the hardware, but we eliminate the cost part of the communication, the platform, and the expert staff for the analysis of the data, while putting in value the results through recommendations. This is customers only pay for the service they receive instead of paying also for the infrastructure that is supporting the service itself. Now, Inycom with Kinetic 360 fully developed and being tested, decided to provide the solution with some additional features. Therefore, in the consolidation phase, that is the second phase that we did, it was decided that Kinetic will have a complementary module called Inycom, that also known as Sustainable Energy as a Service, which has two fundamental pillars. First is the analytical energy intelligence, and then the sustainability part of the process. So in the acceleration phase with Kinetic 360, what was done was to create this monitoring platform for energy understanding and analysis, whose main focus was the discovery of opportunities and billing control, detection of excess power, reduction of consumption peaks, displacement of loads as a strategy through the heat maps, filtering of signals at certain points in the factory, as well as the traceability of unit energy cost per line to understand how the cost of energy is affecting the product. And in the following consolidation phase, that is where Inycom enters into action, the Inycom concept was born, taking into account operations, energy, and sustainability. 4 basic modules have been created around the fundamental pillars of artificial intelligence and sustainability. First, we have Inycom Smart for the detection of anomalies. Second, we have Inycom Alert for the discovery of hidden consumption and analysis of behavior based on the active programming of the plant. Then we have on the third place Inycom Green for traceability of renewable energy against the product. For example, marking the renewable footprint of on the product. And last, the fourth one is Inycom Operations, which is a carbon footprint calculation. So how did Inycom originate? Inycom was born with the idea of growing as microservices or complementary services to Kinetic 360. So for example, if a customer says, I want Kinetic 360, but I only want the anomaly detection module, we can do that. Or I'm only interested in the green traceability of origin, then that will be a microservice and it can be separated, let's say. So going into the modules, The first one is the Inycom Smart, that is the anomaly detection module. And what we have done here is that within the production cell, there is a behavior that is usually normal and can be characterized by its power consumption signature. And then when a piece of equipment breaks down, for example, a motor consumes more than it should, or there is an overprocessing at a certain point of the plant, for example, in a machining cell, it is generating more consumption than the nominal consumption, and then we can see it in the different graphs. So this module is created through a learning phase of the consumption timelines. We collect the consumption reading on a given cell. The first thing that we do is we generate a top and a bottom. This is that we model the behavior of the time series and generate an approximation of the bottom and the top to establish the limits. Sorry. In a second instance, what we do is when the consumption line touches either bottom or top, this means that there's a deviation above the thresholds and that we are setting that about the thresholds that we set, let's say, as admissible. When this happens and the consumption line touches whether it's bottom or top, we mark it or outline it as an anomaly, which is the purple line that we see here. Now you see on the right part of the screen a gray area on the graph. In order to do this, what we do is we need to develop a consumption forecasting part within the module. In this case, what we did was a prediction model under ARIMA to project the consumption forecast. Why is that? Because we can analyze this information in the past, but it wouldn't make sense. What we have to do is to project it to the future stage. So for example, I know what the consumption trend is. I know how we are going to consume. And then what I'm going to do is mark that threshold in the future, and I will allow the consumption line to run between them. For this module, what was done was a presentation of the information as a panel with data analytics, in which the consumption we have in the cell or process is represented at the top. Its margins are calculated and the anomalies are outlined, also reporting the minimum and maximum expected values and the points of deviation. And how effective is the prediction, you could ask. For this, we have the chart that you see in the middle at the bottom, which represents a regression. And what we do is the more the points deviate from the central line, it means that the more errors we may be making with respect of the consumption forecast. So in other words, the green line will be our ideal projection, and the red dots could be the consumption that we have predicted. Then in the second module, using as a basis an operational scheduling of the plant, that this can normally come from a planner or an ERP or from their own order planning system. We know at what time and in what state each of the phases of the process has to be. Within the project, what we have done is to characterize the 3 operating states of each of the stages of the process. So we have on, standby, and off, with the complexity of detecting the standby of each of the machines, and detecting also the different degrees of consumption in the on state, let's say, because a state does not always consume the same amount. So in order to do this, we generated a kind of a widget or a color recognizer, let's say, based on traffic light system, where for each quarter of an hour of the production time period, we assign color representation to the expected state of the machine or process, being red when it's off, yellow when it's in a standby, and green when it's in an operating state. What is done is that we have 2 columns, and if both columns match in color, this could be the normal state, and the programming corresponds to the real state of the machine. And in case that the color does not correspond, for example, there is a difference in color, then logically we have a deviation from what is expected, and in that case we will warn about it. We will do some alerts. So how was this module born? The module and its corresponding API were generated to be a middleware in such a way that it can be used in Inycom, or it can be a microservice made available for third parties. The way it works is the following. It is consulted through a get and post method call through an API. The string that identifies the states according to the operational programming of a sensor or the process is requested, and then it is evaluated. Then moving to the third module, that is Inycom Green. This module, the main objective of this module is to mark the renewable footprint against the manufactured product. What it's usually done in companies is to measure the carbon footprint and say what percentage of renewable energy they consume globally. But what is not usually done is to trace it on the product itself. And under this concept, a blockchain platform was created and acts as a middleware if desired, or it can be linked to Kinetic 360, where Inycom Green requests data from Kinetic 360 on the monitoring of energy consumption, while the variables of the process are collected, and then it's matched. A correlation between the energy consumption and the state of production is made, and this blockchain platform can be pure or hybrid with a private layer or a public layer, where it will expose first in the private layer more complete and internal data for the control and analysis of the application. And then in the public layer, what will be made available would be the order given to the product's manufacturer with its renewable footprint. The operation of this blockchain platform is also done through an API with a get and post method. So a call is launched and information such as the identifier of the monitoring device, its line, its serial number, the percentage of energy it was registering at the moment, etc., is received in the post. And then last but not least, the fourth and last module, that is Inycom operations. This module consists on the calculation of carbon footprint in use, and the idea is to have the capacity to connect to the MES or ERP system through automation systems via OBC or UA connectivity to allow us to know the percentage of carbon footprint attached to each product or work cell. In this case, it does not act as a middleware, as it is integrated within the Inycom itself as an additional option. And what it allows is to calculate the carbon footprint for each of the products. The screen of this module also contains a real-time analytical parts of what is being produced and allows for cell-by-cell segmentation and context analysis, so you can filter here which cell you want to see the information about, and then you can have all the related data analysis in this screen of the module. And with that, that would be it. If you have any doubts, please do not hesitate to contact me or reach me by email or LinkedIn, and I will be more than happy to answer any of your questions together with my colleagues from the industry area. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to the two attendants of today, to the speakers of today, Inycom and Stellantis Vigo, Laura and Rogelio. Also to Oriane from the RESIST initiative, and of course to all the attendants that have here this webinar, and we keep in touch, okay, for any questions you can have. Okay, have a good day. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.